You're probably wondering why I didn't use a sled and I instead have this massive portage pack on my back. The answer is I actually just don't own a decent toboggan or sled to put my pack onto or to pack for a trip like this. The one that we have that might work is actually full of fishing stuff, so I just carried it on my back and it actually kind of worked. It wasn't that heavy. The weather this winter seems to be extra gray and cloudy. I don't know that it's different this year compared to other years, but I'm definitely feeling it more this year. So this day in the warm sun, it didn't bother me at all that it took me a while to set up my tent. I actually enjoyed just being outside, not feeling cold, but feeling the warm sun on my face. At this point, I am truly exhausted from digging out this spot to put my tent. I thought maybe that this hole is big enough for the tent to fit into. I will find out that it is in fact not big enough for the tent, so I'll have to keep chipping away at it.
really like these stakes because they're red, and if you do a lot of tent camping, you know that sometimes stakes are hard to find. Sometimes stakes, especially in the winter and like the spring when there's a lot of mud and a lot of snow, they can definitely be tricky to find. So if they're silver and shiny, that's okay, but I really like these red ones too. They just catch your eye with how shiny they are. I've had brown stakes before. I don't know why somebody would make brown stakes. They just like blend into the dirt and mud so much. You're probably wondering why I'm camping with this tent when I have a hot tent. And honestly, it's because the hot tent, if I'm going camping by myself, is just such a struggle to drag to where I want to go, especially if there's no broken trail, which there isn't here. And it's also difficult to set up by myself. I also don't wake up easily from getting cold. I will wake up when it's like negative 10 degrees in the tent. I won't wake up when the fire goes out. So the fire will go out and I will be cold. So I figure I might as well just make it easy and do a tent like this. I have a negative 40 degree sleeping bag, and I have a 60 degree sleeping bag that I can layer if I need to. I don't think I'm gonna be cold. I have 2 sleeping pads and an emergency bivvy. I really don't think I'm gonna be cold, but I actually, I'm gonna go ahead and stake down my tent. Oh my goodness. Like I was saying earlier, I have not camped in this tent in the winter before, but I have the sleeping bags and the sleeping pads that should keep me warm even if I didn't have any tent at all. This tent isn't really to keep me warm, it's just a shelter to have over my head. It's supposed to snow potentially tonight, but right now the sky is clear blue. I underestimated how much work it would be to shovel out this tent area. I had to pause and take a couple breaks because I was just starting to sweat. I really don't want to sweat when it's cold like this because you work really hard, you sweat, you get warm, and then you cool off when you stop working really hard. Sorry, it's really bright. But then you cool off when you're not working so hard, and it makes you extra cold. So I was trying not to break a sweat. I think I did okay with that. But I'm about to set up the inside of my tent. This is one of my favorite parts of camping and something I miss. It feels like it's been years since I've been camping before. And I really enjoy this tent. It's just pretty in general, and I just love it. It's a little bit wonky because the snow under the floor of the tent is definitely not flat. It is very lumpy. It's nice that I don't really have to worry about closing the door of the tent because there are no bugs. The magic of winter camping to me is the quiet. I mean, there's noise, it's windy, there's wind noise, the tree noise. As you're walking on the snow, you can hear like big sheets of like icy snow under you just cracking, and it's this really low, deep, eerie sound. And it's not just where your foot is, it's like huge chunks that you can just hear dropping. I don't even know how to explain it. If you haven't experienced it before, it's kind of creepy sounding. It sounds very, I don't know, it just freaks me out. But it's just snow cracking under your feet. There are lots of really cool noises, but in general it's quiet because there aren't birds chirping, there aren't other people around. It's just really peaceful. I'm excited to make my tent setup in here. I brought a book. My book kind of got destroyed in the pack, unfortunately, but I think it'll be okay. I have Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. I've been attempting to read this book for probably a year now, and it's really dense. It's written by a very intelligent person, so it's just taking me a while to actually read it. Also, I just haven't been reading for fun as much. I usually read a lot more when I'm camping. This is my first time winter camping this winter.
kicking at the walls, you hear a call from right.
I chose this spot because I didn't want to be in the woods. I wanted to be kind of in an open area. It's hard to tell if trees are alive or dead in the winter. A lot of the trees around here are pretty small. They're not massive, so it wouldn't be like totally risky to camp in the woods, but I thought this was a nice open area that I found to camp, so I don't know. Kind of feels like I'm out here all by myself in the wide open though. I am going to, oh, it's so hard to walk without snowshoes through this deep snow. I am going to make some lunch. Pretty hungry at this point. I kind of wanted to make this area a little bit bigger to hang out in front of the tent, but I'm just super tired of shoveling. Wow, this is so good. I'm thankful for the weather. It was supposed to snow today. It was supposed to be very windy. It is quite windy, but it's sunny and it just feels good to be outside. My mountain house adventure meal is yellow curry with chicken fried rice. No, yellow curry with chicken and rice. I didn't let it sit as long as it told me to. I was worried it was gonna get cold. I don't have a koozie. Sometimes people will put their meals like this inside of little thermal koozie kind of things, especially in the winter, to keep it warm while it reconstitutes the food. I don't have one of those, so I'm just gonna eat it. I'm okay with it not being fully reconstituted. I'm just really hungry. In the future, if I keep doing trips like this, I would like to get some kind of toboggan to put my stuff in that kind of holds it in the sled as I pull it. But for now, carrying my stuff on my back in the portage pack worked. I didn't go that far. I've been wanting to go winter camping all winter, but for some reason it's just seemed kind of daunting to me. I think it's because of the enormity of the hot tent and the stove and everything that goes with that. Not only carrying it or loading it into the sled and getting it to where I want to set it up, but the shoveling out the snow in such a large area. It's a really big tent. That's kind of daunting. Just seemed like a big thing to do on my own. And it just didn't work out where Cory and I really have had any time to go together. So I just decided to do something more simple and to just go and do it myself. If you guys have any tips for camping with a tent like this, let me know. But so far, I honestly am loving it. I've decided to go for a little snowshoe walk to enjoy the day and get outside and be a little active. The snow is incredibly deep, even with snowshoes. I am sinking with every single step. So it's turning out to be a workout, but it just feels good to be outside. Winter can get to be really long and exhausting, and I think more exhausting if you don't do a lot outside. So it just feels good to go on a little nature walk. I thought putting it down in the snow would prevent the wind from getting to it. I think it's just too windy. Got a little tiny baby fire going. I don't know that I'm gonna keep at it though. Unfortunately, it's just too windy to be safe. I think I should just put it out. I've never like dug a hole down in the snow like that to start a fire, and I thought maybe that would be a little bit better, but bad idea. I could tell right away with a little flame that it's just not a good idea with how windy it is. Unfortunately, even with all the snow, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So no fire for me. I will have a little pile of firewood, so if later tonight the wind really calms down, I can come out here and start the fire. Unfortunately, right now, that's not gonna happen. It was nice and sunny this morning, but now it's afternoon and a gray cloud cover has really taken over. I haven't seen any wildlife action. I swear I heard like a coyote or something, but just one and just one time, so maybe it was just in my head. I really haven't seen any animal activity. No birds, no squirrels. The trees have been really eerie in the wind. You can hear them crack and sway, and they kind of sound like they're breaking in the wind, but that's just how trees sometimes sound when it's windy. I'm pretty sure those were trumpeter swans and the first real wildlife that I've seen. The air mattress that I blew up is completely flat. I hope there's no hole in it. I hope it's just, you know, how cold air condenses. I hope that's what it is. But there is not a lot of air in it right now. I think I'm going to relax for a little bit. Might even take a nap. So this is kicking my butt, but it's inspiring. A reminder to be active and kind of keep taking care of my body. Just sitting here in the tent, I was getting a little bit chilly. I'm not really moving or anything. The sleeping bag is nice and toasty, but my whole body isn't in the sleeping bag. So I went ahead and put on my Aurora heated jacket, my Unigear heated gloves, and it's just so nice to have the little heated accessories. I do have heated socks with too, but I forgot the batteries, which is okay. But it's just nice, I think, to have like some heated equipment so that you can kind of just have a break from the cold in a way. Like my hands were fine just putting them in the glove. They would be warm enough, but the fact that there's heat in there, it just feels so much more cozy. I don't think they're really necessary, but it's definitely cozy. Between the rain fly of the tent and then the tent, there's a pocket of air, and sometimes in the summer it can get pretty stuffy, but right now in the cold it's keeping a little bit of heat in here, especially with the sun beating on the tent. It's pretty nice. I think it'll be chilly tonight in here, of course, but I think I'll be warm enough. I am pretty confident. The part of winter that I get sick of and tired of is having to force myself to stick to the schedule and drive on the roads even when it doesn't feel like a good idea, and scraping off ice off of my car before driving home, and worrying about slush and not being able to open the mailbox because it has iced shut yet again, and having a hard time going for my typical jogs on the road because the road is icy. So, but this camping is a whole different experience. I feel like I could just, if winter was just winter camping. Overall, last night I was pretty chilly. Not unbearable, but definitely I would not want to use that sleeping bag alone in colder weather. Also, the tent, probably not in colder weather. I was probably about at the limit of like comfort, which winter camping, camping in general, isn't always about comfort. It's not always about feeling like you're at home or something like that, I guess. But I'm also not out here to be a survivalist. I am out here to spend time outside and enjoy being here. So I do bring shelter and comforts to make it enjoyable and to have fun. So I would say, yeah, I was about like borderline comfortable. I do have like coffee and like a breakfast thing I could make this morning, but I feel kind of just like chilled to the bone. You know how when you've just been outside a lot, you get cold, and it's like a different kind of cold. It's like an internal cold. I kind of feel that, and I also am like kind of starting to get cold symptoms. So I'm probably just gonna pack up my tent, go get myself some coffee and some breakfast. I kind of probably am a little bit dirty from camping, so I probably shouldn't go to a restaurant, but I'm gonna go get some warm food and kind of reflect on this one night experience. It was short, but honestly very sweet, and I couldn't ask for more. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And thanks to those who subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me and it really helps my channel grow.